Oh, I'm putting the live stream on. You guys are good to go now.
Okay.
Alderman Payon's kitchen.
All right. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the
Morning.
September meeting of the Audit Committee. It appears that everyone is here. David will be a little bit late, and Jody was going to be a little bit late, but she's so darn efficient, she made it here anyway on time. All right, has everyone had a chance to review the minutes from our
Yes.
June and July meetings? All right, do I hear a
I did
motion?
the agenda. I reviewed the agenda. I'd like to move that we approve the agenda as circulated.
Well, we have to approve the minutes first. Well, that makes sense.
I think the agenda.
No,
the
you're
agenda
right.
wasn't on the
You're right.
agenda. I
Well-
second that motion then.
Thank you.
Okay. Is there any discussion? Seeing none. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 All right, let the record reflect that the agenda is unanimously approved. The next matter is the approval of the minutes. Has everyone had time to review the minutes from both the June and July meetings?
Yeah, I had one minor question on the June 21st meeting. I thought that Mr. Lyles was present and he didn't show up on the attendance. But if he wasn't there, you know, I trust the minute keeper more than I trust my own recollection.
I was not there, so Ellie, Alderwoman Tierney, do you have any recollection?
Yeah, because of the subject matter, he was there. Yes, he was there.
Okay.
And then he left, but yeah, right?
Yeah, I remembered his being there.
Yeah.
That was
Okay.
June, the meeting where we had the Clifton Larson Allen present, and I thought Mr. was
Yeah,
we
because
could
I remember it was tied to
select
the
a
subject.
change.
Yeah.
to indicate that City Attorney Lyles was present for the June 21 meeting.
Well, that was a July meeting because I was present for their presentation.
I
I thought that was the June meeting. I was looking at it last night to make sure that we had done a presentation from them.
yeah,
July, we might have talked about extending their contract.
July, we had our friends from Forest Consulting, but June was Clifton Larson.
Oh. Yeah, I'm sorry, I confused the two.
That's okay. No, I just,
Yeah, we had to choose one or the other.
well, I'll tell you what. Can we move that we table the approval of the June 21 minutes pending a resolution of Mr. Lyles' attendance?
Okay, if we can't resolve it, I don't think we have much choice.
Was that a motion?
Yeah, I'll
Yeah,
regard
I
it.
mean, it was a request. Can we move a motion to table the minutes on the June 21 meeting?
Is there a second?
Yes.
Second.
All right, is there any further discussion? Can anybody add anything or enlighten us? All right, seeing no discussion, call for a vote. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 And I'll pass since I wasn't there. It appears that the motion's been approved.
Okay. Can I move that we approve the July 19 minutes as circulated?
You sure can. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion on that? Seeing none. Call for a vote. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Um, all against signify by saying nay. Let the record reflect that we have unanimously approved the minutes from our July meeting. The next item on the agenda is public testimony and comments. Doesn't appear that we have any. That may be relevant for other committees, but I don't really see how it's relevant for us, at least most of the time. I understand that has to go in the agendas for all boards and commissions. All right, reports from committees or members. I guess this is where I ask whether anybody has anything to say. Again, I think this has limited value for our particular committee, but apparently it's supposed to be there. I will, let's see. Well, we do have someone who, one person who wishes to be on the audit committee. I regrettably don't have her letter and application in front of me. However, I do know that she is the chief financial officer at the Key School and has been for about the last 7 or 8 years. And before that, she was the assistant director out there for finance. I believe since about 2008 or 9, if memory serves me correctly. Does anyone know this young lady by chance?
Her name?
I don't have it in front of me. Okay, well, we will. I had intended to reach her by phone last week, but was unable to do so. I will try again, if not today, tomorrow. I know Alderwoman Tierney expressed an interest in being present when I did conduct a phone interview. I'll get with her and hopefully we can get together and get this person interviewed. She applied through Hillary. Don't even know how she knew about the opening, but I'll find out. Okay, new business. The audit committee budget. Jody, you want to lead this one off?
Jody, you're muted.
I said I'll take a minute to look that up, but we put the same in as last year, and I think it was 25, if I remember correctly.
Question, the amount appropriated for fiscal 21, that was not used, right?
Well,
Right.
I thought it was 50 last year. No.
It was 50 the first year, and then when we were last year, we were trying to trim some expenses,
Right.
and we cut that in half when we were developing the FY21 budget, and left it at 25, and I think we put 25 back in this year, but I'll confirm that for you.
That's what I recall from the finance committee meetings.
So now it's a question, I don't know what your discussion is going to be on that. I'm fairly certain that's what it is. I'll have to open up the budget spreadsheets for it.
The question is,
Padilla.
yeah, is any of the consulting fees to Forest Consulting allocated to that? Or is that allocated to a different area?
We were hoping that some of the Forest Consulting fees could be attributed or allocated to that.
So I believe in 21 we did, but they're continuing their work.
Right.
So I don't know what that extra cost is going to be.
it's about 14,000, I believe. I can go back and look, but I'm pretty sure that's the number. It's a little over, it's like 14.2, I believe.
Extra?
It, to do the strategic plan. So it's not extra. This is additional work over and above what they did originally. So what they did originally, I'm
The
sorry.
17 we already paid.
Well, right, the 17 we paid was to help to work with the departments on the performance measures. This is an addition, this would be additional work. It'd be an addendum to their contract to work with the new council and the mayor on a strategic plan for the city. I'm sorry. Is that clear? I hope I clarified. I
Yeah.
hope I answered your question.
I'm not aware of it. Why would that come out of audit committee funds? I mean, if it doesn't have anything to do directly with what we
The
contract,
performance measures piece, right?
I don't see why that would come out from our.
I think Lynn's words were she was hoping it was going to
Yeah.
help. So
Right.
Yeah.
I mean,
if the audit committee decides that's not what they want to do with their funds, that's fine. And
yeah. And then
the
we'll have to figure it
administration
out
will
something else.
we'll look elsewhere.
Well, I need to know a little bit more about what exactly it is they are doing to follow up. I
So,
don't necessarily mind that, but I need a little more information. You're catching me totally off guard. I was completely unaware of that. Nobody bothered telling me they were going to spend our money.
we're not spending your
No.
money.
I-
That's you. We're not spending your money. I said we were hoping. There's nothing set in stone yet. We have an estimate from them, and that's it. And we know we need to find a way to pay it. And we were hoping that because to really implement a performance measurement system, you need a strategic plan. And that was our thought. It's not, we were not spending, we were in no way making an assumption that we could use the funds for that. In no way.
Okay, then we don't have to worry about that expense. Ms. George.
I have several questions. All right, our initial expense with Forest was for 17K, right?
Right.
And didn't we have a budget of 25, so that left 8 unexpended,
Yeah, well, it should have. Yeah.
right? And Jody, do we carry that forward, or is it gone for good?
No, it's gone.
Gone for
But
good.
all the expenses that are set up in the general fund, if the budget's not spent, it falls to fund balance.
Okay, all right, so that's where it lies now.
Mhm.
Okay, and then we have a fresh 25K to work with in this coming year. Yeah, okay. Well, I feel kind of the same way. I'm probably the most outspoken proponent of a strategic plan for the city. I've said it out loud any number of times, but I'm just not sure that the audit committee's fund should be used for that. We haven't even worked out a risk assessment for the coming year to talk about how we're going to approach what we do and where the risks are and where we need to spend some money. So just personally, I'm not really sure that that's audit committee. Because we haven't even come up with our plan, I don't see us spending a sizable, roughly half of that money for the strategic plan. And like Alderman Payon said, it's all news to me. So I would say initially, though I am in favor of the strategic plan getting done, I don't think it should happen with audit committee funds.
Concur.
Okay. Alderwoman Tierney.
Yes, I concur with all that Katie just said. Also, what about the CLA contract?
Well, that could be on the agenda for today.
Right.
You mean as far as the budget's concerned?
Yeah,
We
yes.
pay that out of the finance
Finance
office.
Okay, okay. Thank you for that clarification. Okay.
Yeah, it's in our contract services category, and so is this 25,000. It's in our contract services category. I'm just right now trying to find a list that supports that, but that's my recollection.
Okay, yeah, me too. So question. I recollect that Forrest presented, it was an excellent presentation at the July 19th meeting. And I don't recollect a path forward that was cast in stone, which I assume is what this extra cost is for. Am I remembering that correctly? Does anyone else remember from that meeting a scope of work? Because if there was, I think I would highly recommend, I don't know if timing is an issue, that we look at that scope of work if we are even contemplating taking it out of our budget. That's all.
Well, I've certainly got no argument with that.
Well, my recollection is that we did not discuss anything further.
No.
Yeah,
No, we did not.
thank you. Like this.
In response to Alderwoman Tierney's question, I had asked the question specifically if Forest Consulting had provided the tools for self-measurement on the performance measures, and they indicated yes. So my understanding, without it being stated, was that the implementation of performance measures work was completed by Forest, and anything new would be outside the scope of that. So if we are to, if the city is to engage with Forest, it would be for something outside the scope of performance measures, which are the purview of the audit committee.
Yeah, okay.
That's how I interpret that. That's, and if others recollect the discussion, I mean, all it says in the minutes is discussion. So if others recollect that as part of the July meeting, thank you.
Yeah.
That was my takeaway from it.
I think we agree.
Thank you.
Finance Director Dickinson.
25,500. So you got an extra 500.
Yay.
Thank you.
God, I'm excited. Extra 500. Wow. Okay. Anybody else? All right. We should move on. I do have, well, actually, the audit committee vacancy is on the agenda, and the name is Caroline Ewing. Did I get that right, Jim?
I think that's correct. I think if that's the person at Key School that you're talking about.
Yeah, yes, she's the finance director there and volunteered. Now, were you the connection there?
Not me, no. But if I know the name of the person who is the finance director at Key School, and if it's Caroline Ewing, you mentioned she. I'm trying to put one and one together.
Okay, that could be tough on Monday mornings. All right. Is there? Well, we have another vacancy. I guess I'm happy to say, but certainly our loss is the city's gain. Julianne Donnelly is going to work as Jody. She'll be the number 2 person in finance. She's going to work for the city finance department. I'm delighted that she's coming on board. However, I wish we weren't losing her, but she can't stay on the audit committee and take the job, and believe it or not, she picked the job over the audit committee. I don't understand how she could have made such a decision, but she did.
I'll say this for Jody. Thank goodness she did.
Yeah, I agree. When does she start, Jody?
Her first day is the 30th. So a week
Okay.
from Thursday.
I knew it. She resigned when she did so she could get out of this meeting. No doubt in my mind.
Yeah.
Is her office in the conference room?
I have to shift some stuff around here to fit her in. As of now, then we're out of space completely. So
All right. Good morning, David.
Good morning. Sorry I'm
David?
late.
1/8.
No, it's okay. You called ahead of time. What are her duties going to be, Jody? I mean, is she a real live assistant finance director?
Yeah, so that is the ultimate goal, is to train her and give her high-level supervisory and supervisory responsibilities, that so that eventually she can just step in and take my place when necessary. So that's the ultimate goal. It'll take a little bit of time to get her there, because the work is very different than the stuff she does at St. Mary's. But so it's going to be a little bit of learning, and I'm going to give her one thing at a time or one or two things at a time to take over. And then I'll be having to train her it's probably a year before I think she'd be in a place to step in.
Well, that's
But that is my goal, to train her to a level where she could just step in, and she's got a good background for that. So it's just a matter of teaching her what goes on here. And then also frees me up to do things that I've not gotten to yet.
Well, that's very good news. We know that you've badly needed an assistant for quite a long time, and I'm glad we've finally taken care of that. Are there any questions about that from the finance or for the finance director or the city manager?
Thank you.
Alderwoman Tierney.
Yeah, will that help Katie Connolly's role? She's in her duties.
No, that's not going to relieve Katie's work.
Nothing. Yeah.
Well, that will, if I can shift some of my work to Julie, then I may be able to give Katie more time at budget, but that's not the goal. The goal is so that I can free up to do the high level things that I need to be doing. But yes, I'm planning to try to list for a contractual budget analyst to help her during the budget period. But really, like I've said before, we could use another budget analyst full-time to work with her on budget matters.
That was just sort of.
Are you implying that presenting to the finance committee and the city council is not a high-level job?
What?
Surely you're not implying that.
What are you referring to?
You said you'd have time for more high level.
Well, you'll find that as you're doing the daily work and getting the daily transactional and review stuff done, that you tend to put off the performance measures, team, staff meetings, reorganization, trying to find efficiencies in the work, and you have to be able to sit with everybody, and that there's just no time for that right now.
It's seeing the forest through the trees.
Those are the things that get put off, but they're important. They're critically important to change how things function.
I well understand that. It was a weak attempt at humor on my part, that sarcasm. We do not have a presentation this month, which will cut down greatly on our time for this meeting today. But I think we probably need to talk about who we want to hear from next. I know that the finance director has some thoughts and ideas. Perhaps the city manager could chime in. Jody, did you have any thoughts about what department head we ought to have in?
No. I mean, you're hearing from one at a time. I don't know if you have interests in some of the department functions, if you're looking for a program delivery or an admin department. So I'll defer that question to the city manager.
Okay.
So here's a thought. We're in the last stages of hiring a new transportation director. So I think it'd be great and hopefully that person will be hired before the next meeting. So maybe we should bring that person in to at least so you can meet and get to know him or her, but also to have them run through the performance measures and what their thoughts are about the current performance measures that they are inheriting.
Well, I'm all ears. Does anybody have any other thoughts? I was thinking that, gosh, I'm not thinking at this hour. Didn't get home from the game till almost 1 o'clock. The planning and zoning, I was thinking about them, and also transportation. I don't know, David, do you think it's a little soon to have them present? I mean, when we have somebody present, we usually want them to go over departmental functions and, you know, how they think we could save money. Part of me tells me this would be an ideal time, but another part tells me that they haven't been here long enough at that point to really comment.
Yeah, but I'm sure that you all will not ask too many detailed questions. I think it'd be a good opportunity for you to meet the individual and just kind of get high level impressions that they might have of you know, the department. They could certainly come back later to do a more detailed presentation because it may be a little bit early for that, but I think it'd be a good opportunity to just get to know them at least.
Okay. Anybody else have any comments at all?
Mr. Chair,
Yes, Ms. George.
at some point, and maybe not next month, but maybe at least by December, I would like us to do our own risk assessment so we can have a context for where we're going to spend our 25.5 for the year. And that's like a kind of an interactive process. I'd be happy to facilitate that. But I think we do need to do it before we start picking and choosing where we're going to spend our money.
Okay. Well, this would be just to have somebody from transportation and
Yeah,
discuss.
I mean, absolutely. I would love to meet
Okay.
that person. And like I said, I'm not suggesting that we do that at the next meeting, but I would recommend putting it on either the November or December agenda.
Okay. I would certainly recommend November, if not next month. I don't know why we couldn't do it next month, but
Well, it's kind of it would take us a full hour probably to go through it in a systematic way.
okay. Then if everybody agrees, we'll put that on the November agenda.
Should we inform the city manager that we have no placeholder for forest consulting as far as the budget? I just wanted David to, I thought we should inform him that we did
I
not
understand
accept.
what you mean.
Well, Katie mentioned next year's budget, and we are not receptive on using the money for forest, in case his understanding was different, that's all.
Yeah, that happened before he jumped on the meeting where the committee decided they weren't going to use their 25.5 to help pay for the forest consulting strategic planning work.
Got it.
Well, we
Thanks.
didn't say, we hadn't seen the scope of work. I don't think we made a decision.
Yeah, I mean, we need to approve our, you know, what our money's being spent on, like any other committee. That's not a great way to do business. I mean, they're just, you know, grabbing at our budget without even consulting us. That doesn't seem right to me. As a matter of fact, it's not right. But
yeah, that would not be right, Mr.
Okay.
Chairman. That would not be right. You're correct.
all right. Well, let's talk about you know, what we're going to spend the money on at the November meeting. I would like to get that done before I leave office, and November will be my last meeting. So, okay, let's move on. Unfinished business. The first thing up on the agenda is performance measurements. I'm not sure what it is we have to discuss at this point. I don't think we Well, I don't know. Is the statement of performance measurements, are they all completed, Mr. City Manager?
Farrow, you want to give an update on those, please?
Yes. So they are not completed. Several departments have not completed their end of year reports to us. I am working with them to get them together, but they are not complete.
Well,
So-
I want to make sure that they have come up with a statement of some kind for what they think they ought to accomplish, and that's what I
Yes.
was interested in.
Oh, yeah.
That accompanied most budget requests from different departments at some point, but I'm not sure we ever.
So yes, the performance measures are the same performance measures that we used in FY 21. Are the performance measures we're using again this year. The new performance measures will not go into effect until FY 23. And so the performance statements are the same as they were last year.
And Lynn, what was the reason for not taking the new ones into this current year that we're in now?
Because we were already in the budget planning process when they were working with Forest Consulting. So the budget, the timeline did not work. They couldn't plan for the budget without having the performance measures in place, and we didn't have the performance measures in place, nor did we have, they were still working with Forest Consulting to develop the new performance measures, and that is why.
Okay.
Well, this
David,
is going to be
you
the
can
third.
correct me if I'm incorrect, if I've missed something there.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, it was just a matter of timing, unfortunately.
This is going to be the third year in a row that we've put off, comparing performance with what the goals were. I think we're moving from the ridiculous to the absurd on this. I don't get it. Everybody provided a statement. As a matter of fact, 2 years ago, everybody or almost everybody provided a statement of goals, statement of things they wanted to accomplish for the year. And each year at the end of the year, we've listened to what we've just heard. Oh no, not this year, but next.
So Alderman Payne, those are the ones that are being used. It's the ones that you're referring to from past years. So those are still being used. It wasn't like we threw those out and aren't using anything. We're going to transition to the new ones that Forest helped be developed in FY23, but the ones that were already in place are the ones that we're collecting the performance data on that Lynn mentioned earlier. We're still collecting the performance data on those for the end of the year, and those will be complete.
Well,
in the FY23 budget, we're just going to transition to the new ones. They're not going to be that dissimilar from the ones that we have now, but it's the ones that Forest has helped us to refine and to develop.
Well, it seems like we ought to be in a position as a committee to start the review of those, and get people, department heads in and you to talk about how they measure up.
Lynn, may I ask?
You can at any point. You can at any point request that. I'm sorry.
Go
Lynn,
ahead.
my question, my question to Lynn.
Let Ms. Farrow finish, and then we'll
I was done. I was just saying that at any point you can request that the departments come in and make those reports. They're ready to be made. I'm not sure I'm not sure that.
Well, I
what
guess
I'm
my
saying
confusion is
connected.
earlier you had said there were still.
Oh, you froze.
Katie froze.
Oh.
Ms. George froze. Sorry, Ms. George, you froze.
Go ahead.
I froze. Earlier, Lynn, you had said that there were some departments you're still waiting on their final report.
Their final report, yes.
Yes, their final report.
But everyone.
So
has
how
report-
many departments is that, and what would be a reasonable due by date for that information?
We can have it all by next month if that's what you would like.
Let's
And how
do it.
many departments does that represent?
It's, I think it's only two. Let me, hang on a second. I'm in my Google Drive. I can answer that question.
Okay.
For you.
Only two. Hmm.
That have not reported, Fred.
Oh,
Alderman Payon.
Say
Only
that
two that have not reported. We're the only two outstanding.
okay.
Okay. This is-
Mr. Cardillo, in the meantime, did you have a question?
Thank you. The question is either to Ms. Farrow or Mr. Gerald. On a quarterly basis, we provide department heads with the data that we've collected with regards to financial measures, and they're able to evaluate their performance on a periodic basis against their budget. The question is, are we doing the same with these performance measures that during fiscal 22, are they evaluating their performance against their previously stated measures on a periodic basis, or is it just done at the completion of the year?
It's on a monthly basis.
Monthly. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay.
Yeah, so Jim, our goal is, we do the city manager's monthly report. The goal is every quarter, as part of the monthly report, to include the performance data from the department. So they report on a quarterly basis through the monthly report process.
Okay. All right. Thank you. I didn't know what the implementation was on the monitoring. I understand that the department heads come up with their performance measures that they're evaluated on, and what is the monitoring? Thank you.
All right. Alderwoman Tierney, I believe you had your hand up.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So it would be ideal if when in preparation of the fiscal year 2023 budget, that all of the departments would be working off of the same updated performance measures, and then consequently present somewhere between mid-April and early May, is that instead of some doing and some not. Is that a fair request?
Well, I suppose so. I'm interested in getting started on this as soon as possible. If I had been here in the month of August and really prepared a little differently for this meeting, I probably would have had at least one of the department heads here for this meeting. I think we need to start that as soon as possible.
Maybe I should turn that into a question. Would it be fair to say that when we are ready to look at a new budget, will we have an understanding of all the departments based on updated performance measures?
All right, David, you might be better answer that than I. I mean, my answer is that I would certainly hope so. That's the purpose of it, or one of the purposes. But
I mean, that's the unfortunate part about the timing of this, right? We included the old performance measures in the FY22 budget. That's the budget year that we're under right now. That's the budget year that we're collecting data on. FY23, we're going to transition to the new ones that Forrest helped us develop. Would I rather have those in place right now? Yeah, but we're still under the old ones that were part of the budget. So we're still reporting on that. Once we get to FY23, then we'll transition, start reporting on the new ones.
Okay.
Because that'll be part of the budget at that point.
Clearly. Okay. All right. I just got, some are, some aren't, we should probably just all assume they're all the old in just a clean break is what I'm asking for.
all right. Any other questions or comments about that?
Mr. Chair, if I
Yes.
could, just to clarify, following on Alderwoman Tierney's comment, So when department heads come before the finance committee to present their budgets next spring, they're going to be reporting against the current set of performance measures that are in place, correct?
Going to be budgeting according to the new performance.
But
measure.
budgeting according to the new ones. Okay.
Right. Their budget goals and objectives will be based on the new
On the new.
performance measures that they've established.
Okay.
Just like this year, their budget
Hold on.
goals and objectives were based on the FY on the current performance measures.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. That clears it up.
Okay.
Thank you for that clarification. Good.
Anybody want to comment on whether we should be, checking up on them? I mean, I'd like to have them in here, starting with the next meeting to get some of their goals and how they're doing and what they're doing to achieve them. Go ahead.
I think at a minimum, quarterly, we should have a report of, not by person or by director, but a written report of the quarterly stats, basically, of the performance measures for all departments for us to review in advance of the meeting. I think that's pretty typical with common practice.
Okay.
And I think it would be appropriate for us to look at that quarterly, but not monthly. But good on them that they're collecting it monthly. But I think we're sufficiently reviewing at a quarterly point.
Well, I don't have any disagreement with that. I think that's just fine. I wanted to get people in because I want to start the process. That's all.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to be here after November, and I just want to make sure we're started on that before I leave. Alderwoman Tierney.
All right, I haven't had my second cup of coffee yet, so forgive me here, but this is a big deal. This is the first time we've ever done this. And the reason it's a critical reason to as well is to see how our departments, of the efficiency of our departments, et cetera, and weigh that into next year's budget, which will be a difficult budget. We, this audit committee, will be reviewing them. I think with Katie's help, we really need to have that down. And what are we looking at and when? Because this is I didn't know if they were coming in as departments to the audit committee. Who does the monthly review? We gotta have a system here, and we cannot rubber stamp these, and so we have to have that on our agenda quarterly, and clearly state what we're looking at. This is new to me, so any assistance would be helpful. Do you all agree?
Yes.
It feels like we're talking about two separate things, right? And they're
Yeah.
all related.
Fumbling.
One is the report that Ms. George was talking about that comes in every quarter. The second is, who do you want to bring into these meetings to follow up with what was reported, to have an in-person sort of debrief of how they think the department's doing? I think both of those are important, but I don't think we should give up either for, we shouldn't just say, well, you don't have to submit the report because the directors are coming in. I think you need both. I think you need the quarterly report, and then to bring the directors in, one at each meeting to report on how the department's doing.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think there needs to be more than one. I think the two issues mesh, but Alderwoman Pendel Charles.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I was going to suggest that we hear from Mr. Gerald, since he does it on a daily basis. He comes to these meetings. He's the bridge between us and the departments. So I'll rely on his expertise as to how he thinks it should roll out to the audit committee. Thank you.
All right. Well, Mr. City Manager, I can get together with you outside of this meeting, and we can discuss this and figure out exactly what the best direction to go in will be. But I do think we ought to get started on this, not rush it, but come up with some thoughtful questions and issues and decide who we're going to bring in plenty in advance and go from there. Seem reasonable?
Yeah, that sounds good. And you know, if we do one per month and just spread them out over the whole year, you'll see each
You'll get it.
department
Yeah.
at least once. So,
Well, I think, you know, I'm, as you know, I'm in the building almost every day, and we can just get together sometime in the next few days, hopefully. Somebody had, Ms. Farrow.
Yeah, so for the performance measures, I would recommend that, as Ms. George recommended, that we get that report, that you all get that report quarterly as a written document. So the first quarter will end in October, and that we would have that ready for you to review before your November meeting. And then any questions you had would be able to be answered during your November meeting, but that it would be prepared for you in time for that. And then we would follow the schedule accordingly, if that makes sense. But in the meantime, I will make sure that you all get the end of year report for all of the departments.
Okay.
Prior to your next meeting.
All right. Thank you very much. Alderwoman Pendel Charles.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And as part of the discussion, Mr. Chair, between you and Mr. Gerald, I think it would be helpful if we came up with a plan, a schedule. There may be some departments that Mr. Gerald thinks we need to hear from initially. There may be some other departments that we can wait further down in the monthly schedule. There may be somebody we don't need to hear from maybe till April, but there may be someone we want to hear from in November or December. So I think instead of kind of piecemealing this, I think we need to come up with a schedule. That way the departments are well aware of when they're going to be, I won't say audited, but will be reviewed. And so that should be all part of it too. I'm not one for piecemeal. Let's try to schedule them out.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Well said.
All right. Is there any further discussion? All right. I think we've come to the part of the meeting that is basically comments for the good of the order. We're winding down on this one. I wish we could always get finished before 9 o'clock, but I don't know that. I think we've pretty much reached the end of the agenda. Once we get going, I thought about maybe having a subcommittee that would kind of lead the charge on the matters that the presentations from the different departments about performance measures. I've never, well, I mean, I've supervised people, and I guess indirectly dealt with performance measures, although we never called it that, but that's about the extent of my experience with them. Now, Ms. George, I know, has had extensive experience, and Mr. Cardillo, have you also had experience with performance evaluations, reviewing them?
Yes, I have done engagements as an auditor that involved both the financial audit, similar to the work that CLA has done. I have also done operational type audit engagements as an auditor, where you're basically given a different work plan, even such as an internal audit department as the county has, which the city does not. So I'm familiar with that area. Mr. Chair, if you're requesting I serve on the subcommittee, the answer is yes.
Ms. George, I know you've got a few things coming up in the next, but it wouldn't involve the next day or two. Let me put it that way.
Exactly. Thank you. Yes, and I would be happy to serve as well.
Alderwoman Pendel Charles.
While I do have other things to do, I would be willing to serve on that committee with
We're all going to be
Mr.
on it.
Cardillo and Ms. George.
I am grateful for everyone's involvement.
Well, well, I'm just looking for somebody to lead the charge, basically.
I'll be the caboose. I'll be the caboose.
Okay. All right.
And I would be happy to lead, Mr. Chair.
Okay.
Thank you.
Jim, we're approaching the bewitching hour for you.
Thank you. I did indicate to the chair that I would need to peel off for a pre-scheduled meeting at 9.
All right. Is there any further discussion? Alderwoman Pendle Charles.
Just one comment. I don't know. I keep looking out the window. The school is right across the street. So for my other job, I try to kind of monitor what goes on during transportation in the morning. So I've been listening and engaged, but I just keep looking out the window to see what the transportation issues are across the street. So I'm there. Thank you.
Well, should I call in a few buses to block your driveway so you can't go to work today?
But that's okay.
You won't be able
We're good.
to.
All right.
And Alderman Payon, I'm just chuckling because your name on the screen is Alderman Payon, HND and BBB.
Madeline.
B&B venture. That's the name of his new bed and breakfast venture. That
Yeah.
I thought it was an Airbnb myself.
he's getting into the STVR biz now that he's off the council.
Yeah, right.
Bite your tongues. Madeline, I'm not sure who it is that would get my name straight. I don't know how that happened, but
I can change it if you want to, but you should be able to do it yourself as well.
I have no idea how. If you can do it, I would appreciate it.
No, I'm just.
Madeline, you have to realize who you're working with here.
We're joking. We're just joking.
All right.
Me included. Me included.
And me too.
Do I hear any motions? Mr. Cardillo.
Thank you. Move a motion to close the meeting.
Second,
Thank you.
Is there any discussion? God, don't look so happy, everybody. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 All against and